Good morning and welcome back. Today is the 29th of June, near to the end of the month, and I'm going to go through my pre-market prep. There's no news today in the market, as you can see, no news or no major high volatility news, so we may just see a bit of a grind day today on the market. I'm looking at my pre-market hourly chart. Let's go into the weekly for a start so you can see where we are. I'm going to go straight into levels I'm watching today. You can quite see here on this weekly, we've got this zone down here where we bounced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. If you take also the bottoms of candles, open and close of candles, that area. We are holding this area, seems to be like that. If we look at the daily, it looks like a head and shoulders pattern is setting up. And you can see we've got our clear neckline also highlighted in the purple, but that's just for reference. That area there is our neckline, and we are holding it. We are just breaking above Friday's high at the moment. We are still holding this downtrend. Bottom tail, bottom tail, bottom tail. Decreasing volume on selling days as well, which is significant. Maybe we're going to see another bounce in this area. Just be aware that we are below the average volume as well, so we are seeing low volume on this pullback as well. RSI smack bang in the middle as well, so as there's no news today, no major volatility events, maybe it might just be an inside day. We are trading inside that weekly range there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days we've been in that area, so let's see what happens. We'll get into some better levels in a minute. Welcome back to Craig, thank you and good morning to you, appreciate you coming back. So ES is looking like it's fulfilling this head and shoulders pattern. It's just what's going to happen next. If it plays out, then what I like to see is that neckline get broken, taking out this pivot here and coming back up to retest that zone. Then that might put in a new lower high, a new higher low, I meant, sorry. So we've got a high on the head, we've got a lower high on the right shoulder, and are we going to put in a higher low on the retest just here? We can see where the volume shelf is. Massive big area of confidence around that 7500, 7465, 7400 area. That's the zone we're watching, and that's the zone we've been bouncing as well. If we lose that volume, then maybe we might see a bit of a move down to the next volume node, which will just be area confidence down to 7200 all the way down to 70,000. So that's kind of the weekly overall outlook. What's the date today? It's the 29th of June. We've got one more day in the month left, and it's a short week because the market's closed on Friday. Hang on, go back to my calendar for Independence Day on the 3rd. So we may have a bit of a low volume week. People are taking extended holidays, and if you're thinking about having a break now, this week's probably the good time for it. Also looking at this weekly, we can see that significant volume shelf here, massive big point of control area. If we are going to see that pivot get taken out, we've got a potential target. I'm waiting for a potential move. I might try and take a swing trade if I can just find a short, just taking into account this head and shoulders pattern. And that's pretty much it. Last week we had a higher than average volume on the red candle, which is pretty significant. We had a smaller narrow range indecision candle week 4 on probably similar volume, and then we had a bottom tail candle previous week on higher volume. But this is the first higher volume red candle we've had for some time, going back quite a few weeks. It's above that average line as well, so maybe even though the daily looks different, the weekly may be painting another picture. And we are sitting smack bang on that volume shelf right now, so it'd be interesting to see what happens this week, especially with the lower volume I would expect to see. Dropping down to the hourly now, let's get some levels. You can clearly see that head and shoulders pattern really set up. We're holding that area there. We haven't quite broken these 3 pivots, this inverse head and shoulders pattern here. Look how nice this inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. The neckline's that point of control, and look where we broke it. We came back and put a double bottom in that area. Hopefully somebody picked up that move when I was away a couple weeks ago, and then we sold off, and then we've just been average, pretty much average volume on all these days. But this is the zone to be watching. This is the area to be watching down here at 7360, 7400 area we can consider as well. Levels for today. let's just draw another trend line in. Let's just do it on here. I'm going to take the average volume in. Potentially, what I'm looking for is the most touches of this trend line. I could have just drawn one going across to that trend line here, but I didn't want to do that because there's only 2 touches, the first and second. But here we've got pivot, 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 and then a bit of confidence area. So lots more touches. I prefer that trend line. And we are breaking that trend line in the post-market, pre-market. So maybe we can watch for a potential break and retest back down. So for me, I do quite like the break of yesterday's or Friday's high and a retest back down that area. So keep an eye on that volume shelf as a point of control running through. Big area of confidence as well. We kind of went sideways, put in lows or sideways days. Remember on Friday, I talked about watching this zone for a short, and look how smack bang on it is. I said keep an eye on 74, 53, 75, that level there I had marked up. And only because I liked all of these topping tails. You know, every time we got there, we were rejected. And look where we rejected on Friday. I wasn't around, I was out with the scouts, but I really do hope somebody capitalised on that move back down. And again, we talked about it in the pre-market, and I talked about it while I was doing a live trade as well, watch for a short. And look at that for a short, all the way back down to the low of the day. So hopefully somebody took that, and if you did, well done, good job. So for me, levels I'm watching, that is still a reaction point for me. Big reaction there, big reaction there. Kind of held it, then we broke through. So I'm looking for a bounce in that same place. 74.53 for a bounce long. I'll consider anywhere between 74.60, yes, Friday's high, all the way down to maybe this pre-market low area on that trend line, all the way down to there in these zones here. Notice the volume shelf as well. So that can act as support below. If we break over pre-market high, 74.73, I like that for a break and retest long. Keep an eye on this 200 moving average. It happens to be right at this big psychological number, 7,500. So that is a key area today for me. If we're looking for a long, that's a good target long. If we're looking for a rejection, we could potentially watch that area. The reason I like it is because, let me just draw this zone in. Again, it's a zone, don't forget. You can see going back, we pushed up, rejected, pushed up, rejected. It's a zone, not an exact line. Then we held it, rejected it, held it, rejected, rejected. We broke it, came back down, retested that zone, came back down, retested that zone, and then lost it, retested it, retested it, retested it, retested it, and we don't know what's going to happen next. So for me, 7,500 is an area to watch. I'm not overly fussed about this 200 moving average, this purple line, because it's largely going sideways. So I'm kind of ignoring that. But we could say if we're below the 200, shorts may be good. If we get above it, we can look for longs, and that'll be breaking that right shoulder trend as well. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to keep it really simple today. So just to quickly recap, I'm going to be watching for a break and retest of Friday's high. Let's just go back. Break and retest of Friday's high around 74.60, 74.63 area. If one thing I didn't mention actually, if we do break pre-market low, where we hold in this trend line, I'll be looking for a rejection into the zone, and I'll be watching for a bounce down at 73.60, same place where we bounced on Friday. And that's pretty much it. I'm looking for break and retest long, looking for a rejection at 7,500 area, that zone there, and then I'm looking for a breakdown of pre-market low. Really, really simple, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I still like that. So while we are, if you look, I'll just zoom in out because I like to see a bigger picture as well. That's our volume shelf, and we are kind of in that zone. We haven't quite broken through that yet. So we may find it hard getting through that. We may just grind our way up through it. Then we can watch 7,500. But I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if we reject on the open and break down and continue this downtrend. It's kind of what I'm expecting. But you know, these patterns are just guides only. We've got a lovely head and shoulders pattern setting up, and what we're really looking for is a nice swing play on the break and retest. But it's good to know in advance what we're going to be trading and what patterns to look for. Let's go down onto SPY next. Pretty much the same pattern as S&P, as the ES. Look at that for a print. You know, this is one of those levels, maybe. So I'm just thinking about 76.16 is an area we've seen before. It's a confidence area. Maybe this is one of those tin foil hat areas where you don't normally see these prints, but we've got one there. Is that a potential target in the future? Somebody obviously bought down here, and look at that. If we do, we'll be breaking that pivot as well, so maybe keep an eye on that zone. Just putting it out there. Obviously it's not a good print, it's a post-market one, and obviously we can ignore that, but maybe that's an area we can keep an eye on in the future. Look at the trend line, we're holding and we're just starting to break it. So for me, 77.38 break and retest long. We got 740 and 750 above their potential targets. If we lose pre-market low, let's look for a trend continuation on this right shoulder down, and then we're really looking for this pivot down here. Are we going to react down there and bounce, or are we going to lose it, break and retest it to confirm the head and shoulders pattern? I don't know. I can't see anything else. If we break that right shoulder, maybe we've got a rejection coming in this big area of confidence. I'm just looking at volume shelf. We're starting to see volume kind of lose a little bit of momentum. So we have this void above, but I do like that area of confidence. So 743.25 is a rejection area. We can keep an eye on these pivots from previous days last week around 740 as well. That's a potential area to watch for rejection. I think that's it for them. SPX, again, same pattern. I'm not going to go into the pattern anymore. Let's look at psychological numbers on SPX. I like SPX because this shows you none of the pre-market noise. So 7,300, look where we came into on, what day was that? Friday on the open. We opened pretty much down there, tapped into that 7,300. So keep an eye on that area. We marked it up as well. And look how we bounced. Let's keep an eye on that as well today for a potential bounce. 7,400 above. We came in, didn't quite get there, but we can keep an eye on that for a potential rejection. It looks like we're opening up a little bit above Friday's high. So maybe that's a target, 7,400, and that could coincide with that 7,500 on ES as well. So keep an eye on that. And then obviously if we break this trend line, we've got this trend line, let's draw it in a bit better. That's probably there, the most touches of pivots and bodies. Break and retest over 7,400 long could be a good play as well today. And I'll be breaking that trend line. Keep an eye on SPX. NQ, we are slightly above yesterday's range, but we're still inside last week's range, so it might be a trickier day. Look at those topping tails here, big topping tails, indecision tails. So I like the rejection in that 29,900 area. Also watch 30,000, that's a big significant number as well, psychological number. So keep an eye on that 29, that 100-point gap, that area up there. That's a potential rejection zone for me. Especially when I see all these topping tails. We know sellers were there before. Will sellers come back again? We'll find out. If we break this little trend, this kind of reversal, we see it coming in here. I like a break and retest of pre-market low. I also quite like the break over pre-market high long, so over 29, 720, 7 or 800 area long. Look at the volume shelf to the left. Big volume spike there. Big area of confidence. We're right in that zone now. So either we're going to break it and retest it and we're going to hold that volume shelf, or that volume shelf is going to act as resistance and we're going to lose it. Good morning to 212. Welcome back. QQQ next. Again, not quite as defined as ES, but we've got that head and shoulders pattern. We've got this level down here, big area confluence, but we are seen to be holding that area slightly above as well. Yesterday's low 705. But I do quite like 700, which is a big psychological number. So this is a zone to be watching. If we get down there, I like it for a bounce. If we lose it, I like it for a break and retest. Volume, point of control is right smack bang above at 710 as well. So 700, 705, 710 are areas to watch. Watch for the break and retest over, let's just zoom in a bit, over 716. I like that for a break and retest long. Keep an eye on these topping tails as well. We talked about that on NASDAQ. But look at the volume dropping off on this volume profile until we get back up into this zone. Big gap there we can look to fill as well. So maybe that's a target to keep an eye on, that gap fill. Next up is oil. It's green today. Looked like we were putting a bit of a bottom in on Friday, kind of like a double bottom. But it's still continuing this downtrend. So for me, are we going to break this downtrend? We've got that line there. probably draw it more accurately with a straight line. Break over 70, break and retest long, keep an eye on that into the next pivot. If we lose 68.56, then we can look for a break and retest short to continue this downtrend. Otherwise, there's not much more to say. If we do break up, break out of this little downtrend there, we got this area confidence here, bottoms of pivots. We kind of held that area as well. So 77 is an area to watch for a target and a potential rejection. And that's it really on oil. Gold is red, holding that downtrend. We've not been able to break out over it. Oh, we are breaking. We're not breaking this downtrend, but we are breaking this downtrend there. So potentially, I like the break and retest over pre-market high, and that's holding that 4,080 area, 4,100. That's here. I like it long. Keep an eye on 4,000. Massive big psychological number. Keep an eye on that for a bounce. I do like that for a long today as well. If we get back down. So in fact, I'm going to put an alert in just down around 4,010. Just as a reminder, RTY, this is looking pretty decent. We're holding this uptrend. We haven't really broken it. So for me, we'll go with trend on this one. Break and retest over pre-market high, targeting that 3,060. I do like that 3,000 as a bounce area as well. Let's just draw that in as a potential level, 3,000. And I do like breaking out over these pivots as well. So this is the zone we're watching. We've been holding this zone now for about a week, holding it. We're tightening up now, and we're tightening up on the upper side of that zone as well. So for me, this looks a bit more bullish, but we won't know until it breaks. Let's see what happens. Look for volume on the breakout, look for lack of volume on the pullback, and then volume on the push up. So we're looking for big volume on the breakout on this one. So keep an eye on that one. Maybe you'll be more comfortable taking it as it breaks that pivot, but we could draw that pattern in there, and that's kind of what we're seeing. So I like this long. I'm going to put an alert on this one as well. So I do miss a lot of these. I don't generally pay too much attention. So I've got my alert set on that one as well. YM next. Pretty much similar, but not quite as bullish, but we are holding this uptrend. Let's see if we can get over pre-market high. So anything over 52,600 long, I like it. If we lose pre-market low, maybe we're breaking this trend. Keep an eye on pre-market low breakdown into yesterday's low. 52,000, big psychological number. We've been holding it quite a lot. Notice the reaction and the volume shelf as well. Big reaction to 52, came back up, and then we bounced, lost it, rejected it, held it. Now we're holding it. We can come back down to 5,200, 52,000 for the long again. I do like long. Bitcoin next. We've got 5 minutes before market opens. Bitcoin is hanging out down at the lows. Not doing a great deal, but we are smack bang inside this zone here. So for me, I do like it under 60,000 short. Otherwise, we're holding 60,000. I like it a break and retest long. That's the only two I like. Quite a narrow range. Yeah, so over 61,000 basically for the long. We've got to get out of this zone here. We're trying to get out, but bottom tail, indecision, top in tail, bottom tail, or more indecision. So let's see if we can break and retest long over 61,000. Otherwise, if we lose yesterday's low, if we lose basically 59,600, look for a short, and that's pretty much it. What's happened since we started? Not a great deal. Let me get my order flow buttons, my all buttons up. So looking at order flow, nice delta flip here. Look at that. Aggressive buying came in. Big aggressive buyers, lots of aggressive buyers here on the red candles as well. We've got deltas, lots of volume, and then suddenly sellers take control. Still got buyers at the high, but look at this, selling imbalances, lack of buyers on that candle. This will be the entry. We had a bit of a battle around that 76, 74, 64 area, and the sellers won. Big negative delta, negative delta. First sign of buyers coming back into the market there at plus 18 delta. and that is on a level as well. Yesterday's Friday's high. This is a bounce area I said I like. Keep an eye on this zone. I do like the bounce around here. Big orders 74.95 above. We've got about 240 sitting there, and 74.40 below. 74.40. Let's bring back my hourly chart. 74.40. That's around here. Pre-market low area. We've got 546 orders just sitting around that area. So keep an eye on that zone. That could be a bounce area. It's the top of that purple zone as well. So right on that point of control, so that zone. So if we're going to sell off, that could be the place we might see it bounce today. Okay, so market opens in 3 minutes. Good morning, Sonny. Welcome back. Don't forget, hit the like button, please. Really appreciate that. Helps, brings people to the channel. Helps me want to keep doing it. I've got a few order flow videos I need to edit soon as well. So if you hit subscribe and notify, that will let you know when it's available. Okay, so we're losing yesterday's high now. But remember that area, that level, we've got it written here. 74.40 could be an area where there's lots of buyers come in. Looking at Delta and price are kind of in line with each other. Slight divergence here. Look at this. We have buyers coming in here. Price was going sideways, topping tail, so new, and then took over, but it wasn't really a decent divergence. Market opens in about a minute and a half. Remember yesterday's high, this is the area I like for a bounce. Look at the volume on this last bit. We've got increase in volume, but then the bars are getting bigger as well. I like seeing this on this last bar. Massive big volume bar. Smaller volume bar than the previous selling bar, but it's got a big bottom tail. So we know buyers came in, and that's where the volume's coming from. And can we see that from the footprint charts? That's where the buyers are coming in. We know buyers came in on this candle as well. A neutral delta, and then a positive delta on this current candle. Let's see what happens when the market opens. Just so you know, I'm actively looking for a bounce in this area. So even though we've already retested it several times, we haven't tested it during regular market at the moment. So if we get over 74.60, I'll be looking for a long. It will be a tough long into that 5-minute candle, so I'll be looking to scalp it only. I'll be watching Delta. I'll be looking for a big green bar on Delta. I won't be getting in unless we've got a green bar on Delta as well. But look at this, sellers are coming in, buyers absorbing all that selling pressure right now. Same on there, buyers came in, price went sideways. Look at all this volume coming in now. So market is now open. A line point control right on the open there. So we know that's a potential resistance area. Or if we get above it, could be a support. Positive delta. Bear in mind, I'm watching for a break over 60. But we're not getting that. How about that for yourself? Nasdaq selling. Russell's selling. Big selling candles on the Russell. That's all RTY. Bitcoin selling. Gold's holding its area. Crude oil's holding its area. Big buyer came in there. Here we go. I still like the long still. Something's happening. It's moving quite quick now. Only over yesterday's high. Otherwise, I'm not interested. So I like this very much. Lack of selling. Buyers came in, holding that area. I want to see something happen. I want to see buyers come. I want to see green delta on the next 2 minute candle. Buyers here. I do like this long. I'm actively looking for a long and just waiting, being patient. Big bottom tail there from buyers. I like this, so I'm looking for a long right now. I'm waiting on the next red bar on the pull. I'm not going to get in just yet. Don't want to be chasing it. Here we go. Just waiting for the pullback. Here we go. So now I'm looking for a long, small negative delta on that pullback, which is what I like to see. Positive delta on the next candle. I'm looking for a break of this red candle right in that 60 zone. That's the area I'm looking for a long. I know buyers. I can see buyers on the delta. A line. I'm in long. Big buying delta now. Here we go. First target. Are we going to hit that second target? Big aggressive buyers coming in still. Are we going to hold? Small negative delta. Positive delta. Still looks good for the long. Look at the aggressive buyers on these delta candles. We just want to see follow through now. Had a little bit of follow through, not much. Here we go. Come on in, buyers. This shows who's in control. My target is at 74.69 and oh, so close to target. There we go. Target. How easy was this trade? It's a nice easy trade, wasn't it? So now I'm break even, totally risk free. My next target's at 80 ticks, but I'll probably be watching this pre-market high 74.74 area. I will be trailing. I'm not going to be giving back any profit. Trailing the point controls. We've got selling imbalances. Here we go. So I've got a pivot I can trail now. So I'm trailing the lows of this little pullback. Here we go. We're breaking back out again. Point control. This has turned out to be a real good trade. Still trailing the pivot. So I've got the last pullback. Might be stopping out here. Hopefully buyers come in right now, or still looks good for a long, even if I trail out. Here we go, buyers, push it. I'm holding this pivot as well with this pullback. Look at this, so a delta there. Big aggressive buyers. Sellers absorbing these buyers at the moment. Let's see if buyers take this. So I will be looking to push up onto this green bar as soon as we break out again. We're over pre-market high now, so this is kind of like an area I was watching. I want to trail tight. So I'm trailing it tight, 74.74. That's my target. Here we go. I'm now at my pre-market. I'm at pre-market low. I'm going to hold pre-market low because we could see a bounce. It might just trail me. Yeah, there you go. I'm out. I still like it long. Look at the aggressive buyers coming in. Held it quite tight. Big positive delta. Big positive delta. We know big buying bubble there. So if we get follow through there with buyers, if we reject that with sellers, let me just make sure I'm out of everything. There's nothing sitting on my rhythmic. Now I'm out. That's a nice, easy trade that was. So I took it on my sim account and copied it across to my paid accounts. So that's about 185 per account roughly. And then remember I switched my strategy slightly. Instead of me trading ES contracts, I want to build up my accounts because the new Apex accounts you can only scale up. You can't go full size straight away. So I'm now I think you can't have more than 20 MES contracts or 2 ES contracts, and I go in with 3 ES contracts. So how about that for an out? And we're rejecting. So because I'm crossed, so I buy 3 ES contracts on my sim account, and then on my copier it takes it as 12 MES contracts. So it's the smaller sizes I'm trading. I'm pretty much done for the day now. I think that's my trade. How about that for an exit? I said trailing the point of controls. And that was what we was waiting for. This is a pre-market move. Remember we talked about it. We said about watching for the break and retest of yesterday's high, and that's exactly what we did. Worked out well. And look, this is why I'm trailing, especially with Apex with their trading drawdown. If I was holding, I'll be coming to my break-even area now. And how many people would have got in on the break of pre-market high and then only to be stopped out? That's why we always wait for confirmation. I didn't used to. I used to be one of those people taking the breakouts. And again, that's why earlier I said I wasn't going to get in. I'm not going to chase it. I was waiting for the first pullback. I could have chased it there and it would have been okay, but I was waiting for a couple of bars to come back and then the breakout over. And look how well that went. What did we get out of that? We got 10, 20. What's that? That's 10 ticks, 20 ticks. About 30 ticks we got out of that. It's not too bad. Back at yes, look at that. Big green candle, big bottom tail, and then we've got a massive big red candle. Just got to be so careful trading these markets at the moment, especially where that's why I talked about it being an inside day of an inside week. But we are holding yesterday's high, so we probably wouldn't have stopped out. Big indecision candle on the 15 chart there. Craig says he's green $50. Good job. Green is green. As long as it's to your plan and you're happy. There's a little bit of a delta flip here. Got big negative delta, positive delta. Still got, it's not an actual decent delta flip because we've got sellers still on the bid. And then we can see buying kind of slowed down up here. No follow through on a big positive delta over here, and then we had negative delta and buyers coming back in. Look at the delta now. That's why we always wait for a green delta, excuse me. It was lovely, that move. Small red delta, buyers are definitely in the market at the moment. So this looks good for a long as well. We've retested yesterday's high and Friday's high. Got positive delta, increase in positive delta, high volume as well. Smaller negative delta here. This could be the pullback. Green delta as well, breaking out. No, this could be a long right now. I'm not taking it because I'm happy I made my move. Lots of buyers here. Look, a lot of buyers got in up here as well. They're probably watching the same move. We can see that. Look, 145 buyers, 10 and 133. Lack of sellers, and then the market just sold off. So that they're trapped at the top there. And maybe as we break that green candle, they come out. Now buyers are still holding this area. Excuse me. See, quite a big opening range candle as well. The first 5 minutes. Opening range in 4 minutes. a strategy I've been looking at on these 10 range charts is looking for swing points like this swing low, and then look for the buy of the first red candle, kind of like an RBI, red bar inside. So I'm keeping an eye on how they work. I generally wait for a pullback. I don't generally want to jump in. So something I'll be back tested. Little inverse end shoulders there. I thought that was set up earlier. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. Look at that, a break and a retest. Also higher lows. So you could have found the entry on that area there. Nice 20-40 tick move. I do like seeing the bottom tail, bottom tail, bottom tail. I like this for a breakout over the orb. So I'm going to watch for a potential long outside this 5-minute orb. 74.80, look at all these big orders setting up. 74.80, 74.79. Nothing until we get down to 62. 80, 81, 90. So the market likes to go towards liquidity, and we've got loads of liquidity setting up. You see all those red lines. What's that? What's that? 74.91. That's just previous day. So we're breaking out. This could be the fight. This could be a new high of day. Not much volume though. Look at this. Big volume, reducing volume on that red candle, and then even less volume on this green candle. You could say candles are in proportion to each other. Here we go, new high of the day. 30 seconds until ORB's in place. So we've got the low. Doubt we're going to get down there. 744. 74.44 is the orb low. The orb high is going to be around this 74.80. Did I say that we're going to head towards liquidity? That's what we're doing. Taking out that liquidity above. I like this long. Look at this. 183, 271, 730, 250. Lots of buying imbalances here. Lots of buyers. Lack of sellers here. I don't normally take orb breakouts, 5-minute orb breakout. I used to, but here this looks stronger. There's no signs of weakness from buyers, sellers at the moment. Okay, so now the orb is in place. The orb high is 74.83. So I'm going to be watching for a long over this area, waiting for the 5-minute setup. We do have a bit of a reversal here, delta flip. Right on the orb high as well. So for a valid ORB breakout, we need to see this candle have more volume than the previous candle on the breaking out. So it was reducing volume. Have we got any major levels above? to watch for. We do have pivots from previous few days at 74.80, 74.90, 7,500 is not far above as well. So just bear that in mind as well. Is anyone taking any trades today? I think Craig says he has. Delta's still looking good, by the way. If I sound tired, I probably am. Oh, Sonny says the same. Only on Sim, had a late night yesterday. I didn't have a late night, I had an early night, but I was away with scouts and was camping. I had a week of hiking, got back, had a day in my bed, and then out again for the weekend with a scout camp. So I'm feeling it a bit today. So this is the official breaking candle, but only if we get more volume. We've still got half the candle time left. It looks likely we're going to have more volume up here than that previous candle. Small green candle though, not a big fan. And look at that lack of buyers, only 4 at the high, only 6 at the high. So there's definitely no buying interest over 74.88 at the moment. We know that. Negative delta up there, negative delta. It's not looking good for longs at the moment. But then buyers could be absorbing all these sellers. Just wait and watch. Here we go. So we got pretty much higher volume. What's my trading view? My trading view algos are saying the same thing as well. Higher volume, so it has to. This is a trading view one. Nasdaq's lower volume. ES is higher volume than the previous candle. I do like seeing these bottom tails there. I do like seeing these bottom tails here as well. So I do quite like the longs still. Okay, and this is why we don't just go long on the orb. We wait for confirmation. And I wasn't a big fan. I did say when I was watching this, didn't look good for a long. Lack of buyers up here. And this has just shown me, just proven that. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Is this a break and retest? Maybe. But I may consider a buy back down here in these, where these bottom tails are, right on that area of confluence, around 66. But I'm not too worried. I'm not going to rush into anything. Don't need to. Also, we've invalidated that breaking candle. That candle wasn't a valid breaking candle as well. because we closed below the orb high. But this is looking good for a setup. We had a 2-bar pulling back on a 2-minute. Sellers came in, buyers are now taken back. Let's just see where there's not a massive amount of buyers coming in, but there's plenty of volume. This could be like a little liquidity sweep. Take out the high of the orb, pull back, bounce off the midpoint or pre-market low, break and retest, and then take out the high again. Craig says, green 188 may call it a day. I don't blame you. You should do, yeah. Stay green. I'm green, similar numbers on my account, so I'm in no rush to trade. A++ setups only. I'm just happy to watch and comment or commentate on the market. We've got 200 orders sitting at 74.90, 170 at 74.88, so we do have some liquidity above. Nothing until 66. Well, there's small orders, but nothing significant. Small delta bars as well, so just showing lack of volume now, or should I say lack of buyers or sellers. There you go. Saying that, we had a slightly wide range buying delta coming in, but with no follow through. Price is selling, which means sellers absorbing all that buying pressure at the moment. We can see that because look at the bubbles at the highs. Bubbles on that pivot, 126 orders. That means there was selling, passive sellers up there. Passive sellers up here because we weren't able to have any follow through. If we had aggressive buyers up there, the price would have carried on. So we use these bubbles of areas of interest. So that first bubble we had at 9.36. Look where we had the next lot of bubbles. It broke it, retested that area, so for a bounce. So we could use that potentially as an area where we know there's orders sitting. Got 20 seconds left, and this is probably not going to be a breaking candle. Look at it selling off now as well. So putting a new high, lack of buyers on the high there. And top and tail, bottom tail, indecision candle. And how about that? Selling off. Could we have caught that top? Well, we had the delta flip. Let's just have a look. Let's zoom in and have a look. So we had a big delta flip, no follow through, lack of buyers. You can see that. Look at that, just very thin numbers on the ask, bigger numbers on the bid. And then we sold off. Yeah, lack of buyers again on the ask. Negative delta. First green candle, no follow through. Remember I said there's a strategy I'm working on where we look for a swing high or swing low, and then look for the first pullback candle, that one there, and then we short it. How would this gone? That would have worked pretty well as well. Only at significant areas, by the way, so that's ORB's is a significant area, yesterday's high is a significant area, previous pre-market high and low significant areas. So that's why we like to swing lows and swing highs. So that's what I'm working on. Hopefully I'll have a good strategy for that soon. Just something I've noticed watching footprint charts, you generally get a little bit of a pull out, 1 or 2 bars, and then it continues. And then we had all that selling. Look at that, that would have been a great one. Here we go, it's a swing low at the orb midpoint. You could say that's it, and yesterday's high, significant area. Could we find a long on the first red bar pullback? Maybe. It's what I'm trying to find, a strategy that lets us play during these inside days. Here we go, pullback. Although it's a swing, although it's a delta break, sorry, a delta flip. Not much of a pullback there, so that would have been invalidated anyway. Too much volume, we're looking for a small volume pullback. If we go back to this one here, where is it, the one we were looking at up here? Look at the volume, so this is why this is a perfect entry, a perfect pullback. That's the candle. We had just 104 aggressive buyers. We had 280, 150, 150, and then positive 140. The next one was 220 as well. But look, here's the one. Just 414 contracts were traded. A lack of volume, so there's no buyers. Real lack of interest. The previous candle had almost 3,000 contracts traded. Minus 150 delta. The next one had almost 14 or 1,300 contracts traded. And that was 227 minus delta. So this is the one. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for on these pullbacks. So lack of volume, lack of interest from buyers, and then no more follow through, and then the red candle come in with more volume. So basically this is just a bit of profit taking maybe there from the tops. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. And it's at significant level at opening range high as well. Easy to look back on hindsight, I know. But nothing I can't code into this as a setting up the notification. And we're selling off still. Didn't look like it wanted to bounce here. Lack of buyers, lots more sellers. And look at that for the delta as well. Delta's trends broken, 2-minute price trends broken as well. Right, back at Friday's high now. I'll be honest with you, I'm not finding it very exciting. I may not be on here too long. Might call it a day. I'm going to join Craig and just on green, so I'm going to call it a day. This week's probably going to be a relatively low volume week, low volatility week with the market close on Friday. So this is definitely not a buy. We've got lack of buyers at the high, lack of buyers, lack of buyers, lack of buyers, massive red deltas as well. So yesterday's high, significant level, is the first green candle. Lower volume than the previous. It could be a short. Should I just try a short? Let's do one contract short. If we break the low of that candle, there you go. I'm taking the one contract short, very low risk, just to prove the strategy I'm working on is that I'm only looking for 10 ticks. No, it's not even going to go. There you go. It doesn't always work. That's it. got close. So if you look at all the candles, that's a quite low volume candle compared to the others. Just make sure I'm out of that trade. There's nothing in. I literally took a very small $20 loss or something on that. I wasn't going to risk anything because it's still strategy. And it's only a strategy I'm looking for in the first 30 minutes as well. And we're not at a significant level. Big aggressive selling coming in as well. Still got aggressive selling coming in. Craig says, close this quant tower. Yeah, good job. Otherwise you get suckered into trades like I just did. I'm not a fan on a long here, by the way. Nasdaq's broken the trend. ES hasn't quite broken that uptrend yet. SPX hasn't broken the low, and there's a potential gap to fill if we break the low today. Look at this on this, all this negative delta from the high down to that low. First bit of positive delta we've seen. No follow through on this next candle potentially. So potential delta flip here as well. Well, I suppose not really a delta flip, but we had no interest from buyers. Just not good price action at the moment. $74.50 below. We've got 100 orders. Nothing significant really. No big orders sitting on the book at the moment. Nothing over 200. So Nasdaq's looking relatively more weaker than ES right now. Bitcoin's looking a bit weak. Gold is as well. Oil's kind of inside the last 15-30 minutes, so it's looking neutral. S&P's coming down to the low of the day. Dow Jones looking relatively stronger than most, and the Russell's just selling off big time. So we're coming into the opening range low area now. Don't think we get down there so quickly. Here we go, opening range, significant level. Are we going to see a break or a bounce? Looks more like it wants to sell than buy. So we could look for the orb breakdown now. This is another one. So another strategy where we want to see the volume on the breaking candle higher volume than the previous candle. We've got 3 minutes and we've got about a third of the volume of that previous candle. Delta's selling, price is selling. Footprints look like it wants to sell as well. Breaking that 15-minute and hourly trend line as well. You see this trend line on the right, on my chart on the right, that area there. So let's see what happens. We didn't have a valid orb long. Maybe we're getting orb short. Got a delta flip, invalidated. See, I was quite tempted to take a short earlier, but you know, I just want to go with my proper setups. It would have worked. I said earlier that I don't think there's much buyers. There's more selling, and I was again right. Just by reading the order flow, you can see it. But for high probability, you want to find a really good entry. We're right at pre-market low now, so this is a significant area as well. We might see a bounce here or break and retest short. Got a minute and a half to go on this 5-minute candle. Are we going to see bigger volume than the previous candles? Cutting it fine. So 185 delta, a buy and flip from minus 455. So big delta. Not much follow through though. Only 18 and 6. So the buyers don't really want to have this at the moment. We've got buyers coming in now though. Waiting for the delta to break. If the delta and 2-minute breaks, I might watch for a bounce here. Again, I won't chase or get in. I want to see it break that trend. Kind of holding that trend at the moment. I want to see big positive delta coming, like we saw earlier. Big green delta coming. Buyers are not interested. Quite a big negative delta there, one of the bigger ones we've seen for a while. No follow through on the downside yet. We do have minus 400 down there and no follow through. Buyers were here and this big seller came along. I don't know if you saw that. Here we go. Lack of buyers on the high of this pivot. We're just putting a new low of day. So broken pre-market low. We could have maybe called this a break and retest of orb. We were within 3 points of the orb low. So maybe I might look for a short on the retest of pre-market low, just here. just want to see it pull back a bit more. I don't want to get in. So only 99 contracts here. More buyers are coming in now. So right on pre-market low. I've just got a 1 contract short. That's all I'm looking for. Buying imbalances. So I'm not really infused with a short just yet. But only plus 28. So lack of buyers on this last candle. Not showing that they're really ready to take it yet. Big seller then, do you see that? Okay, so now maybe buyers coming back. Here we go. Lack of buyers at the high on the ask. Here we go, this is a sell here. I'm looking for a short. Oh, I probably missed it. I probably hesitated. I just got distracted on my other chart and I was going to find the entry on that green pullback. It would have been a nice 10-tick move. I was just slightly distracted. I was just looking. I just saw SpaceX pop up on my other screen. I thought, oh, what are they getting on? Here we go. So this is a short here. I'm going to find it. Not on a positive delta though. No, not interested. I've got a positive delta down here, so I'm just sitting back. It might go. Sellers could be absorbing all this buying pressure, which it probably is going to go. Look at that. So that is the break and retest of orb and pre-market low. It did work, but I just hesitated. Been away for a week and a half, so I'm just still trying to get back into the swing of things. That's that short I wanted to take earlier. Lack of buyers, only 14 on a red candle. Small. I've got some volume coming in now on buyers. Look at NASDAQ, it's definitely selling off a massive big red candle. So it's just a matter of finding the entry. Maybe this could be the entry in. Big next down on a delta flip there. I'm going to try short. I'm still not taking it. I'm going to try it now on the breakdown of this candle. Just 1 contract. Oh, I'm out already. There you go. So I was just watching the delta. The delta looks good for a short. Still like it short, by the way. Only 2 aggressive buyers on this last candle as well. There you go. So let's try it here. There you go. Quick short. That's 20 ticks, and I'm done. So I made up for the last 2 quick ones I tried to get into. Just make sure I've closed everything. Literally was only 1 contract. I was only going to scalp 1 contract. I don't want to give back any of the profits from earlier, and I'm pretty much back to where I started. Could have held up, could have trailed that down watching the delta. Look at the delta. It looks good. I still like it. But here now we're starting to see buyers come back in. This is why I liked it, because we've got lots of aggressive sellers. In fact, my out was right on that green candle. Green candle. Oh, look at that. Now that's why. I would never have gotten. Look at that. I don't know what just happened then. But we had all that. We all saw the green candles coming in. So that would have been an early warning sign. And then something happened. Whatever happened there, none of my data came through. Look at that. It's gone mad. I wrote this in this footprint indicator. I wrote it in a way so that if we get lots of volatility, it won't print the candles, so that it can try and keep up with the current price, and then later on it will put those candles back in again when it settles down. It's part of the performance enhancements I did to this footprint candle. Chris Ho says, bro, a win is a win. Nice work. Thank you. I agree. Yeah, it was just being patient, trying to find that win. I was only looking for that 10-20 ticks. So thank you, appreciate that. You know, whatever we do, we're never happy. You get 100 ticks, you want 110 ticks. You get 1 tick, you want 5 ticks. Still like the short, by the way. Looking at Delta, look at Delta. Delta didn't even bat an eyelid when all that liquidity came in. So there's obviously a big buyer sitting here somewhere. Sellers absorbing that buyer. Oh, we did say we'll keep an eye on the price. 7,400, psychological number coming up next as well. Keep an eye on that. What's the levels I had from pre-market? Just remind myself again. Oh yeah, I remember now. This is that area we talked about. I said keep an eye on this area for reaction. Bottom tails. This zone here. We had bottom tails, topping tails from Friday. This area here. Bottom tails, topping tails from the post market. And look, that's exactly where we are right now. And we have that psychological on 7,400. So that's the key area to watch. Did the orb? The orb wasn't an official breaking candle, by the way. It would have went a couple of R, but it wasn't an official breaking candle. It's that candle there. In fact, it would have only gone 1.5 R. It's not a valid trade, not for me, not for my algo, because we're looking for a breaking candle on orb on increased volume than the previous candles, and we didn't get it there. And even on that big wider range candle, we had a similar amount of volume. So it doesn't really show this massive amount of selling on this 5-minute chart. We're kind of just grinding it out. Buyers, first 2 green candles in a row on the Delta, coming back in now. Slightly lower high as well. Sorry, slightly higher low now. Aligned point control, I like seeing these. Not much volume though. Look at the volume starting to wane a little bit. If you're looking for an air gap break and retest of pre-market low or orb, what I mean by an air gap is I want to see price sell off. I want to see an air gap on the 5-minute chart, and then it pull back into pre-market low or opening range low, or even the previous day's low. We might have it coming up now. So that's our air gap there. Only 6 aggressive buyers on the high, 74.27 on that pivot. Not many buyers, not a great deal of sellers. A few more buyers are coming in now. Not much volume though. Look at the volume on these footprints. 667, 443, 437, and we're just going inside. We're not doing anything. Only 6 aggressive buyers on the ask. On this pivot as well, it's a delta flip. We went from a big positive delta to a big negative delta with lack of sellers. Sorry, lack of buyers, I meant. Notice we had loads of buyers on the previous candle, hardly any on the pivot high, and now we've just taken taking it out. But this is good. I like seeing this for a long. If I'm looking for a long, if I see lots of buying imbalances with a big delta, although not a massive amount of volume, but there's lack of sellers there, that shows me sellers are not interested in this price level at 74.24 to 74.26. So we may see it, I was about to say, may see it come back and bounce in that area, which looks like it might be doing now. But this price action is not great at the moment, because I'm assuming the same buyers will defend this area when there were no sellers previously. Which looks like they have. Anyway, I'm going to be calling it a day. I've done my hour in the market. I don't really want to spend more than an hour staring at charts. Obviously, half an hour prep as well. Look at this. So they definitely defended that area. They held that area and bought back into it. We got Delta breaking trend, price breaking trend. Remember I said keep an eye out for that, and that's what it's doing. That's why we only wait for confirmation. And also lack of sellers here, only -4 delta on the low, pivot on that swing low. So it just shows lack of sellers. We saw lack of sellers on the next candle. So lack of sellers here, lack of sellers there, lack of sellers here as well on a red candle. A lot of volume though, so we know lack of aggressive selling. There's a smaller selling, that is. You should see a bit of continuation. And then bottom tail, buying, lots of aggressive buyers coming in as well. And then as soon as we give, the market gives back. Makes it really hard to trade like this. And that's why we can, when we're inside previous days, that's why we can only look to scrap for 10 or 20 ticks. Just can't get that full momentum. You know, if you said, if I see that, then to me that's alarm bells. No more buyers up there. If buyers going to take it, there'll be lots more buyers. Buying imbalances on a positive delta, on a swing low potentially, but then lack of buyers on these green candles doesn't look good for a long. And you're going selling off now. Right, I'm definitely calling it a day. I'll leave this screen on for a bit, and then you can flick over to the ES and the NQ order flow. That one's 24/7, pretty much 24/7. It's been the same stream for the last couple of weeks I've been away, but I've just changed it today to a fresh new stream. So have a look in the stream for that. And I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully for another green day. Green day today, which is good. Nice starting the week on a green. And then hopefully another green tomorrow. Have a good day. A+ setups only, don't forget. You're welcome, Sunny, and you're welcome 212. Appreciate everybody. Don't forget, hit that like button. We've only got 3 likes, and there's 6 of us here, so I'd like to see 6 likes if possible. That'd be amazing. But see you tomorrow. Okay, have a good day.